What's going on, guys? This is our first podcast, I guess. I mean, we had a little test run before, and it didn't go the way we wanted it to, so we're going to kind of go over TLC, which we watched last night. We just watched Raw, which was interesting, to say the least. So I'm going to wait. We're going to kind of wait to talk about that, because we want to go over TLC, which actually kind of made sense to us.
A little bit.
My name's Seth Skinner.
I'm Bill Harrison.
And I'm Gary Carpentier.
All right, so the first match, it kicked off pretty strong, I thought. I've seen this match a couple times now. I watched it twice today.
Yeah, I watched that when I got home again, too.
And I still think it's the best match on the
Absolutely.
on the pay-per-view.
100%.
It was Dolph Ziggler and Luke Harper in a ladder match for the Intercontinental belt. And I have been a fan of Ziggler for a long time, so I think he deserves the title. And I think he deserves a decently long title reign. But it was nice to see the belt change for a little while and, ultimately go back to Ziggler.
I think Ziggler's just kind of in a tough place right now. I thought about it last night, too. Is he can be a guy that goes over to win the big one, but they don't really have a spot for him to do it right now. So I feel like, kind of giving him that Intercontinental reign is the best spot for him right now.
Yeah, and that's what we were saying earlier is, the Intercontinental belt really is the major belt that they have active right now, with Lesnar being so inactive. There were a couple spots in that match, like Harper going through the ropes into the ladder.
Almost breaking his arm.
Yeah. Brutal spots all through the match.
Yeah, it was a really good match, and surprisingly enough, the last couple pay-per-views have been more aggressive and more brutal, I guess you can say.
More violent.
Yeah.
Than the PG rating.
Yeah. And then Miz and Mizdow won via DQ over the Usos, which was pretty predictable for the most part.
Right.
You see that match all the time, so. And I didn't see the belt changing. I mean, I would assume that the Usos would win that, but I figured the belt wasn't going to change hands because Mizdow is really hot right now, and I don't know. I guess.
And then what we saw tonight on Raw.
Yeah.
I think I think the Ascension's got to come out of somewhere.
Oh yeah,
there
was a promo. Yeah.
So I think they got to come out of somewhere. Maybe whether it be on the Usos or it be after the Miz Mizdow thing, or
right,
depending on what happens with the titles there. But I think the Ascension's going to come right in.
Which is good. I mean, we were talking about New Day, and we were like, number one, why did they introduce a 3-man tag team when they don't have any other 3-man tag teams?
Right.
And
I'm pretty sure the only reason Kofi didn't wrestle today is because he has a concussion. That's the only reason. It's why Xavier Woods wrestled.
Yeah. I mean, and also their finisher is just completely,
What was it? A top rope, or off the top rope thingy? What did it say?
Yeah, I forgot what it said on here.
That bad.
Big ending / flying whatever from the top rope.
From the top rope combination. That's exactly what it is. I mean,
oh gosh.
It's like that side slam, front side slam.
With a push
almost
on the shoulders.
DDT type thing.
Yeah.
Not a bad name for a finisher, at least.
Yeah, Midnight Hour. I like that.
I mean, I like seeing these tag team finishers. They're always kind of creative, but this is just what is it? It's so undefined right now. It's and then Big Show went over Rowan in a stairs match, which wasn't a bad match either.
Actually, yeah, I had very low expectations for it. I don't know about you. But.
I'm not the biggest Big Show fan. You can't deny what he's done for the business, but at the same time, he's not the most entertaining dude to watch. He's slow, and I don't know. And this new knockout punch finisher that he has isn't my favorite thing either. It's kind of stupid.
Right.
I do get the feeling he was actually trying to mix up his offense a little bit now, lately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's...
he's
still never going to put on any technical clinics or anything.
Yeah, right.
He has a small penis.
He's not going to be small penis. He's not going to be an Eddie Guerrero, Dean Malenko type technician there.
Right. I don't know. I mean, there's not much else to say about it. It wasn't obviously it wasn't the best match on the card. It was kind of, I felt like it was more of a filler than anything,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then Rusev over Swagger. Of course, Rusev winning again.
Right.
And, you know, the more Swagger loses, the more people get behind him. So
Right.
that's always a good thing.
Well, and now tonight with what they did there, tying into like the whole Rusev thing, like Jericho bringing out Ryback, like I think that's kind of where you put him. I think that's a good spot.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
Ryback
exactly.
To be.
We were saying the same thing.
Yeah, I feel like Ryback's the kind of guy that's they're gonna let him kind of take down Rusev.
Right, and I mean Rusev's got a lot behind him now too. A lot of people, at least. But I mean, there's not much else to say about that either. I mean, Rusev really just keeps getting pushed, and that's all that there is to it. They're just waiting for the right guy to come along, and I think Ryback could possibly be that guy, but you know, they could also just bury him too with everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting to the point where I was thinking the right guy to put over Rusev would actually be Swagger, like put over the whole arch rivals thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And give Swagger a couple months to get built up, and then
America prevails type thing.
Yeah, and
but
I like
he's
Jack Swagger a
he is
lot.
over as fuck right now.
Yeah.
They could at least capitalize on it once.
And he's good. I mean, he needs to work on his microphone work, but other than that,
And that's even been improving too. He's at
Oh,
least
yeah.
managing to get around the lisp.
yeah.
I know it's so hard to be an imposing superstar and to have like just have a nice little 6-year-old.
Like, sound like you're a
I'm
small
gonna be
child.
you in the face.
Okay, and then we went to the Divas division with Nikki Bella over AJ Lee, and we were talking about it before. AJ could possibly be leaving in the near future, which is just a rumor, but you know, like I said before, it's like you got to kind of keep an eye on how AJ Lee's booked in the near future, because you know, even if it is a rumor, I almost can believe that. And you know, Nikki Bella is I guess the next best choice in my opinion for Divas champion.
Yeah, because I think they stretched out the AJ and Paige thing for.
And
little
where
too
has
long.
Paige even?
Yeah,
really been?
I don't know.
Paige hasn't been on TV in like a month out.
Yeah,
I
I'm
haven't
wondering
seen
if
her in a
maybe
while.
she has an injury or what's going on. But
That'd be something we have to look up.
I haven't seen that anything about
She
that.
did recently get added to Total Divas, so my
so,
first thought
yeah,
would be filming that, but I'm not sure.
Really?
Yeah, but she wouldn't film it without the other divas.
True.
Mm.
Yeah, so that doesn't make
That's. I guess we got a couple things to keep an eye
Yeah,
on.
we'll keep up with it.
puzzling.
Puzzling, just like Raw.
Let's see. Oh, and then a table match. Cena and Rollins, which we
Pretty
saw a rematch tonight. And then this one actually ended initially. Well, actually, it didn't end, did it? Oh, it did end.
Well,
They both went through
they
the table.
tied.
Yeah.
Rough restarted the match.
And then Reigns comes out of nowhere.
Literally.
And
Well, first it was Big Show.
yeah.
Big Show came down.
They did have Rollins put Cena through the table, and the ref didn't see it at first.
And then vice versa.
Yeah. But that was pretty much the big spot of the night for the most part. And I don't know. I mean, there's not much more to say about it. It was mostly just there for the Reigns comeback.
Yeah, I think that's the majority of what it was.
And Wyatt over Ambrose was also pretty good, I thought. That was probably the runner-up for best match of the night.
My brothers described it as it was just Ambrose jumping off of shit because Wyatt's too incredibly bad to work with. That's what his explanation was. They're like, you're so bad that we're just gonna have somebody jump on you the whole night.
That's accurate.
Yeah.
I would say.
He's not a bad worker. He's
No, I
just
still
not
love him. I still love
as
him.
much of an athlete as Ambrose
Right,
is.
right.
Yeah.
And Ambrose is just the thing I like about Ambrose is he's creative.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
there's always a new spot that he has that's like maybe you've seen it before, but the way he does it is he's got his own tweak on it.
Yeah.
And that monitor blowing up in his face was pretty cool.
That was pretty cool. I was like, because we were sitting here watching it, and I was like, my first thought was, wait, that's still plugged in. Like, he's not going to actually hit him.
Yeah.
But I definitely didn't see that coming. I was like, oh shit. That dude's face just melted off. So.
Yeah, I thought he might have actually gotten a little bit singed by
I'm
it.
sure he did. Jeff Hardy 2.0 right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but on the scale of out of nowhere, 0 to RKO, that was up there.
0 to RKO. I like this skill. Okay.
That needs to be used a little bit more frequently.
Yes. That could be our segment.
Yeah.
How would you rate this from a 0 to an RKO out of nowhere?
Alright, so that's basically covers TLC for the most part. I mean, we had some other shit to say in our previous attempt. But I think we covered, for the most part, what we wanted to say.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then we move on to Raw, which we just got done watching, which, like, it's, like, difficult for us to talk right now because it was such a, like...
I'm so fucking confused.
Yeah, it was such a
Not
baffling
a whole
Raw.
lot happened, and what did happen just seemed to have little rhyme or reason behind it at all.
Right.
It's just so all over the place.
I mean, it was good to see Jericho again. I always love seeing Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
Let's see. Heyman comes out initially, which that, first of all, like, what the hell's going on there? Like, Heyman comes out to Jericho.
Then we start talking about, like, the ECW stuff back in the day.
And Jericho challenges him to a match, which sort of gives away the fact that Lesnar's there. And I don't know, like, I almost wanted to see Paul Heyman, like,
I wanted to see him skirmish, or, like, get into a little bit of a skirmish there and just kind of go at it.
Like, just for a couple minutes.
Right.
It would have been nice to see him strap on a pair of gloves for a moment.
Right, yeah. Just see him get slammed around a little bit.
Then have the
Just
Lesnar
like,
pop.
Yeah, and then, I think that would have been
wild
better.
haymakers. Just looping them.
Yeah.
I mean, he wrapped his hands all up for nothing, really.
Now, what I thought was interesting was at one point in the beginning promo, Chris Jericho made a remark to the effect of, well, we know I always have an agenda. And if you actually watched the Colt Cabana and CM Punk podcast, that comes off as a response to something Punk said about Jericho just trying to get Punk onto his own podcast to pop his ratings.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting, too.
That is a really interesting point, yeah. I mean, I can totally see it, 100%. Yeah. That's definitely probably a possible... I mean, it's probably definitely what happened.
Yeah. And, like, if you haven't seen that podcast and also the Steve Austin podcast, I'd watch both.
So good.
Then Big Show and Luke Harper against Ziggler and Rowan.
Which, we called this match happening immediately after the match at TLC ended.
Oh, yeah.
Easily. It doesn't take much to predict the booking in WWE.
Actually, for the most part, like, we were completely wrong. Like, that was, like, the only one we got, because Raw just went all over the place.
True.
Yeah.
It was just crazy.
Even more so than normal with the first show after a pay-per-view, setting up new feuds and everything.
Right.
There really was no way to predict who was facing who tonight outside
exactly.
of this.
It was just all like a crapshoot. Like, that's why we couldn't even really talk about predictions last time when we were trying to, talk about Raw, because it was just absolutely impossible. They didn't have anything really, like, out in the public.
Right.
Yeah.
But Big Show ended up pinning Rowan with the stupid fucking finisher, his whatever finisher.
The WMD, man.
But that was an alright match, I guess. Pretty much the only thing that made sense.
Yeah, pretty much.
I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got the Tag Team Divas match. Natalya and Alicia Fox against the Bellas. And
interesting note there with Tyson Kidd going to Nikki Bella's aid after the match.
That was really the only thing that I found interesting throughout that match.
Right, yeah. Well, and because now maybe actually Natalya, maybe that's the next feud there. Maybe if AJ is gone, you've got her maybe going over the top there.
Yeah, they got to put somebody up there.
Yeah.
I mean, the Bellas can't carry everything.
No.
Oh, I guess they could, actually.
Bellas can barely carry groceries.
Ooh. Ooh, shots fired.
And then Jericho came back out with Rusev and Lana on his little show. And he had a couple of little funny spots. And then enter Ryback, essentially.
Yep.
Which like basically like we were talking about, sets up that Ryback Rusev potential feud.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
I
like,
can't wait for that.
I would say a match at Royal Rumble, or maybe there's something that happens in the Royal Rumble.
True.
I mean, it's either that or something with Big Show and Rowan.
Yeah.
During the Rumble.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we'll see once we get closer to the pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
And then New Day versus Stardust and Goldust, which we pretty much talked about them already. It's like they're interesting, I guess, but they don't seem to have a lot of people behind them yet.
No.
And they're not really...
Yeah, even like today, like when their entrance came out, it's just, you were hearing actually boos.
Yeah.
Like kind of, because they're like, what are you going to do with this? Like there's not really much you can...
There wasn't much of a direction to begin with. It came out just like out of the gate and just was like...
I feel like a lot of that was brought on by the match itself, because the teams, they have decent chemistry amongst themselves, but to get these teams did not have any chemistry with each other really at all.
Right. I didn't see this one, the Kane versus Adam Rose. I didn't see that. So.
That wasn't
nothing.
Yeah, there really wasn't anything to that. Like,
I mean, I saw the bunny. It's like take a choke slam. I mean, I got to see that.
I mean, they got to go somewhere with the bunny eventually. So
right.
Maybe they're putting in something with Kane.
Well, I always heard, like, I had a couple people tell me that the bunny was supposed to be Sami Zayn. Yeah. And
that's what we were talking about. Is maybe it's some NXT.
It has to. It's got to be. Yeah. Maybe it's like Neville,
because he doesn't take a lot of bumps in that suit, you know.
Right. Yeah.
Just judging by the way it moves in the ring, it seems like at least behind the scenes, the bunny is being played by Justin Gabriel most of the time.
Oh, really?
I mean, it doesn't have to be the same guy every time, you know.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Because, like, the way the dude just, like, sits on the top rope with, like, his elbows on his knees. And
right.
Yeah.
He does the splash the same way as Gabriel, too.
Right. Maybe it is him.
But essentially, the end is the double choke slam.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kane tombstones the bunny.
See, I was not a big fan of this booking because, for once, it actually seemed as if Adam Rose and the bunny were kind of on the same page. Mm-hmm. And they simply proceed to get buried anyway.
Yeah.
That did nothing in terms
Which,
of
I mean,
telling
just
their
adds
story.
to, I mean, it
Did
puts
no
it up
favors.
another notch of wicked mass confusion after this show. Like, I'm interested to read a bunch of articles after this just about people trying to figure it out.
Yeah, because this is just... My head's still spinning. I was even just reading over these notes. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Going back and reading it all on paper, the show comes off even worse than it actually was.
Right. Exactly. Like, you're almost like fishing for things, you know? Like,
yep.
And so, yeah, anyway, like, Jericho and Heyman doesn't happen. And Lesnar comes out. And pretty much just decimates everybody
just
as
what
he
you
always
thought.
does.
Yeah, just what you thought was going to happen comes
F5s.
out. No words, just comes out.
Yeah.
F5.
And then
done.
leaves.
That's basically what he does. And apparently, I mean, like I said to you guys before we started recording, is he's apparently booked up until February.
Yeah.
So, yeah, probably up until
WrestleMania,
WrestleMania, I guess,
likely.
you know. So,
but I don't know why Fandango was in there to begin with. I guess he was just...
Because of, he took Jericho's Slammy.
Oh, okay, yeah,
That's
right.
why he was there in the beginning. That's why when Jericho came backstage, he's like, give me my Slammy. And he's like, no.
Yeah. No.
Just like that. He sounded exactly like that. 100%.
Reigns made a spot here, too.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That part confused me so much.
I know.
Fandango's getting ready to talk. Reigns comes down. Quick spear, spear. And then Reigns goes to, as he says the first word, instantly Big Show comes out. And then he punched him.
Like, none of it just, it was so confusing and just, like, out of left field that, like, I don't know. I almost enjoyed it, because it was just like they were throwing shit out of nowhere.
I mean, we were all sitting here laughing, just like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Does anybody
It
else?
wasn't bad. Honestly, that is the proper way to use Roman Reigns, really. Don't really let him talk that much
kinda like
outside
let
of
him
like
be
3
a-
or 4 sentence
Yeah.
promos and just have him arrive, destroy things, and leave.
That's
Just
kind of
be
what
the
the
new badass.
Shield was. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
he's kind of the only remnant of the Shield.
Yep. Yep.
Because like they kind of just gave Rollins that heel, and they let Ambrose kind of be the rogue sort of.
Wild card.
I don't know. I keep
Always have
saying
to have a wild card.
yeah. I keep saying Steve Austin type because he's that defiant character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like the defiant kind of. He's the one that I think the crowd connects with the most.
Right.
Yeah.
Can relate to.
And then like he's got a long way to go before he's a Steve Austin, but they see that same potential
Yeah.
in him.
Ambrose, I see, is the guy that like the kids watching wrestling today are going to look at and want to be a wrestler.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Couldn't have said it better. That was really good.
I didn't even pay attention to this next match. Jimmy Uso and The Miz.
It was just basically Jay was just he was going back and forth, basically commanded most of the match. Mizdow came in, doing his mimicking thing that distracted the ref.
I mean, he's like the biggest thing. The only time Miz is on screen is like you don't even focus on him. It's all about Mizdow.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's
He's
the
really
point.
only
That's why
on there
he's a
for-
great heel, really.
Yeah.
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 I've actually become a whole lot more of a fan of The Miz just through this whole...
Just putting him
thing.
over.
Yep.
It's all putting him over.
Yeah, he didn't even, like... Miz got himself over as a heel while putting Sandow over as a face
Yeah.
and his opponent.
I can't wait till they
Even...
break up, till they have to fight each other, because that's
Yeah.
going to be funny.
Yeah.
It's got to happen.
Yeah. Oh,
I
it
would say.
definitely will.
Oh, yeah, it'll be one of those massive pops when Mizdow finally starts to act for himself.
Yep.
Yeah.
It'll be like the old school Virgil pop where this guy,
Yeah.
even nobody even cared about him, but they just hated Ted DiBiase so much
Yeah.
that when Virgil finally stood up for himself, he got a mega pop.
They're like, oh my god.
And with the crowd actually being as behind Mizdow as they are, if they play that right, and by which I mean they don't completely blow it 100%,
Yeah.
the crowd will go nuclear
Yeah.
for Sandow.
But The Miz and Mizdow have to drop the belt to somebody, and
Yeah.
that's why I think the Ascension's coming.
They got.
Yeah.
I don't really see a spot. I mean, it doesn't really.
Besides
make
Stardust and Goldust is the only other possibility.
Right. It doesn't really make a sense
Yeah.
for them to come into any spot, but you know they're coming. Like they have to come up.
Right.
I don't know.
There's really not any more face tag teams outside of the Usos and the New Day.
I just
Yeah.
have a feeling that they're gonna come in because, like, if you think about the tag teams in right now, you have Mizdow, Usos, Gold and Stardust. Like the Ascension's bigger. Like they're bigger than all of them, and they're just
Exactly.
so much more impactful. I think they're just gonna come in and they're just gonna destroy, and they're gonna take the titles.
Kind of like
Oh,
the
yeah.
Shield. It'll be
Right.
another Shield.
Like, I could see them... I don't know that they'll win the titles, like, as soon as they hit the roster, but I'm pretty sure their first feud will
Yeah.
be with the champions for the titles.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't see them not being champions. I don't see them. They'll be champions longer than it takes them to get there.
Yeah, and it's going to be like another Reigns thing where the whole gimmick they're trying to push them with, like the old school Road Warriors demolition type of gimmick, in order for that to get over, they're going to have to actually run over everyone once they get up to the main
Yeah,
roster.
it'll work. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
I could see that working.
Mhm.
And then the main event was Rollins and Cena in a steel cage,
It was actually a really good match.
which I thought it was a very good match.
Easily the highlight of the show.
Yeah,
the only
one
thing,
of
the only thing that made sense.
yeah, one of the few things that made sense at all.
And not so much the highlight as the light.
Yeah, and it was relatively it was probably a 20-minute match.
Yeah, just about.
And Lesnar came in, of course, and pretty much destroyed Cena, and we pretty much thought Rollins was going to get taken out as well.
I thought for sure. I thought he was going to do one of those things where he comes into the ring because they were both down.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to look at Cena, kind of look at Rollins. I thought he was going to F5 them both, just kind of walk out and be like, you know.
But Cena got
that's what Brock
suplexed a bunch
should
of
be
times.
doing. Like, they had Brock squash Cena. At this point, Brock should just be destroying everything and just completely destroying things, no result, and basically fucking things up for the company as hard as he can at this
Just
point.
be like that nuclear bomb kind of guy.
Yeah.
Like
I felt like his return didn't even feel that impactful, coming in on Jericho first, and it was kind of odd the way they brought him back, I thought.
yeah, it's there's not it's hard to say anything on here wasn't that confusing.
Right.
I mean, there's an aspect of every little bit of this show that was relatively confusing.
Right.
But anyway, Lesnar comes in, suplexes him a few times, of course. Hits an F5. And then Heyman goes to shake hands with Rollins, and we thought something was going to go down. Like with Lesnar or something. Figured he was going to get his ass kicked. But he didn't. He shook his hand. Which is another thing we have no idea.
There's his agenda.
Which directions go.
I was also just thinking about this, just sitting here, is now that potentially puts you up for after Royal Rumble when you have Lesnar and Cena. Now you have this. If Roman Reigns is projected to win the Royal Rumble, go to WrestleMania, Seth Rollins, if he's teaming up with Lesnar, you're not telling me that Lesnar and Cena are going to have an epic match where they're both like incapacitated. Rollins cashes in on one of them, takes the title. You've got Rollins, Reigns for
the thing too,
main event at WrestleMania.
It has to have to do with the Money in the Bank.
It's got to,
contract.
yeah. I think that's the main focus point on that.
But like we were talking about earlier, which is pretty much, well, not earlier, but last night, which is pretty much not a possibility now, I guess, is Rollins cashing it in.
Oh, yeah.
Not cashing it in.
Not
winning
cashing,
and not cashing it in.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I guess it's got to have to do with Money in the Bank, and only time's going to tell that, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually really hopeful to see Rollins as the number one contender, still holding the briefcase, because that's pretty much the only Money in the Bank story that they have left to tell.
Yeah.
Right. Basically.
But Rollins wins with the curb stomp after Cena's pretty much destroyed. And that's how Raw ended.
Just this whole, 3 hours of most confusing stuff, with bits and pieces that fit, and then all the other was like, hey, let's do this. Let's just go and do this.
Well, it's a long week for the WWE. They have a bunch of shows, so...
Well, that's true. Yeah.
They might just be...
Because what they got tomorrow, SmackDown.
Yeah, like Super SmackDown or whatever.
Tribute for the Troops is Wednesday.
Yeah.
It almost comes off as they let WWE 15 book an episode of Raw.
Right.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah. WWE Universe story mode there.
It reminded me of one of the Shut Your Mouth story mode episodes.
Just crazy all over the place.
But, I guess we'll cut it off there. We're almost at, half hour?
Oh, wow.
So, I would say that's good.
First attempt ain't bad, we'll get better at it.
Yeah, we're missing one person.
The straws.
But, sometimes he shows up, sometimes he doesn't. So he'll be
He's on his way.
He'll be
he'll be here at 5.
An inner outer. Yeah, he'll be here at 7. But anyway, if you listen to the whole thing, thanks. We'll try to put out as many as we can, as often as possible. And we want, interaction as well. We want people to comment, and, we don't want to be the only people talking, essentially.
Right.
We want people to try and connect with us and actually, give us our opinions and, just try and make it the best we can, because we're just, a bunch of kids that watch wrestling and want to talk about it. So.
Yep.
And we have no name yet, so this is where we would usually plug that. But anyway, thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Bum, 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 diddle-diddle-doo.